Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Yoga with Marcy. In today's mixed level class, the theme is pleasure. And we experiment with giving ourselves more access to our birthright, which is pleasure. In yoga speak, we call this Ananda, or bliss, one of the 6 attributes of the universal, available to us all if we simply open to it. We learn how to open to it more by invoking and activating inner spiral. So come find out and come experience that and come enjoy. I'm glad you're here. So good to see you guys. All right, anyway, take your comfy seat, and for the next hour or so, this is your time. This is your time for you. And today's theme is pleasure. We're going to be beginning a 4-week series working with inner spiral energy, inner expanding spiral. And the element that goes with that is water. And the place in the body that lives is in the pelvis. And this is an area and an element that corresponds with flow energy. And we can work with it sometimes in very subtle ways to start to welcome in flow in areas of ourselves that may feel stuck or stagnant or just tight, or and it can be kind of magical, and having that experience of flow can be deeply pleasurable, right? So feeling like something move that previously was just really tight, suddenly it's just like, and something comes back into aliveness, into life. So we'll be working with that, and my cueing today will be a little different than usual. I'm going to be cueing from the pubic bone. And the pubic bone is right down at the base of the bowl of the pelvis. And we'll come back to it in a few minutes. But let's, everybody, go ahead and close your eyes. Find your breath. Feel your sits bones on the cushion. Let yourself ground more and more into this space, into this moment. I'm going to read you a quote that I took from Valerie Kaur's new book, Sage Warrior. She wrote, "I learned how to speak from my trauma in order to be heard. I accepted stress and discomfort as the default way of being alive. But I am tired of speaking from the wound. I want to live and create from the seat of pleasure. Embracing pleasure will not diminish my ability to speak to injustice. It will make me even more powerful." So I offer that. In times of oppression, oppression wins when we lose our access to our own pleasure. And that can be external oppression, that can be internalized oppression. In yoga speak, the word for this is Ananda, bliss, one of these 6 attributes of the universal in tantric philosophy. And take a moment perhaps to imagine or remember a moment of pleasure. Maybe it happened in the last hour, the last few minutes in here, or in the last 24 hours, or even any time in the life, whatever pops up, a moment of pleasure. Just notice what happens in the body, in you, as you allow yourself to imagine that. That is what we want to expand. So we'll take hands together in front of the heart to join our voices for the sound of 3 ohms. Exhale fully. Deep inhalation. Releasing the hands, open the eyes. Bring awareness into the pubic bone. And if you don't know where that is, you can just feel down here. It's right there at the bottom. And right above it is like, oh, there's my belly. So it's right there at the bottom. And bringing your awareness to your pubic bone, initiate it to lower and send it back. And notice how that brings a curve into the lower back and widens the sits bones. And now draw it forward. And notice how the sits bones come back together. You lose the curve. And then as you inhale, draw the pubic bone down and back. And then inhale it forward. And exhale it back. And inhale it forward. And exhale it back. And then come to neutral. Great. From here, we're going to get right on our backs. I know you have a lot of props, so that's going to be tricky, but there's some room in the front of the mats there for you two, y'all. So come onto your backs with your feet on the floor, arms at your side. Oh, make a sound. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, sometimes the sound that needs to be made that gets held back blocks our experience of pleasure in the moment. All right, so bringing awareness again into the pubic bone with your feet hip-width apart. Do the same thing we did seated. Now we're doing it on our back. I want you to feel it this way. And notice the curve comes when you take the pubic bone down and back and the sits bones widen. The heels of the feet kind of want to spread out. Just leave them where they are. And then draw that pubic bone back. And notice how the heels want to come together and the lower back now meets the floor. And do a couple more of those. Inhale, the pubic bone down and back. Exhale, bring it forward. And one more. And exhale it. And back to neutral spine. Let's draw the right knee in towards the heart. Extend the left leg out. And breathe. Nice. Gently press the left extended leg into the earth. Activate the toes of both feet. Nice. Draw that knee towards the heart and notice how the lower back wants to collapse into the ground with that rounding. See if you can draw the pubic bone down and back to bring a little curve in this shape. And breathe. And reach with your left hand to the heel. Draw the heel towards the heart. Open the knee to the side. And notice again how the lower back wants to press in and draw the pubic bone down and back. Bring a little curve in and see what happens with that knee. Does it access to more opening. Keep all of that engaged. Inhale the heel towards the sky with active toes. Reach around with the hand. And notice what happened again with lower back, and see if you can bring in that, that action with the pubic bone. Bring a little curve in, and then reach through both heels. Put a bend in the right knee, and take that ankle in front of the left knee for a figure 4 pose. Reach the hands through behind the left thigh. Active feet. And once again, notice how the lower back wants to compress into the earth. Draw the pubic bone down and back. Bring in a little bit of a curve, and then work your figure 4 just enough. Work it so that it's pleasurable, so that it's enjoyable. There's potentially a lot of sensation here, and it helps to breathe into sensation, allow sensation, enjoy sensation. Good. Inhale, left foot down, right foot down. Take the feet the width of the mat, open the arms wide, activate the toes, and take your knees towards the left. Ooh, yeah, let all that stuff go in the front of the right hip, if there's anything there. And then inhale it up, take the knees towards the right. Inhale it to center. Let's take the other side. So we'll inhale the left knee up towards the heart, extend the right leg out. Come into breath, and then activate the toes of both feet. Gently press that right thigh into the earth. Draw the left knee even more into the heart. Breathe. Now check in with the curve in your back. And if it's collapsed, bring in a little inner spiral by drawing the pubic bone down and back. And there it is. Now with the right hand, reach for the right heel. Draw that heel towards heart. Keep the toes active. The left knee moves towards the left. And notice what happened again in the lower back. Bring in inner spiral. Inviting in that watery space, expansion inward into the infinite inner world of you. Good. On the next inhalation, we're going to bring the right knee up, put the left ankle in front of it, reach through with the hands for figure 4, and check in again with your lower back. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. You can even experiment with collapsing it down and then bringing in the inner spiral and just see how it's different. And then work your figure 4 just enough. Soften the jaw. Soften the skin around the eyes. Keep breathing. Inhale to unwind it, both feet on the ground. Take the feet wide, activate the toes, open the arms wide, and here we go again. This time, knees to the right. Let go of anything in the front of that left hip. Yeah. And then inhale the other side. Great. Inhale your way back to center. And we're going to get up to standing. You can rock and roll it. You can roll to the side. You decide. And up we go. All right. Let's grab a block. And take that block in between the shins. Great. All right. Do you need to shake anything out of the shoulders? Yeah. Okay. Enough of that. All right, find your breath. Feel your toes, a little rock forward and back on the feet. Great. Then lift and spread toes, bring them on down. Notice how the fingers said, oh, were you calling for me? No, wasn't. Gentle hug to the block with the shins. Oh, freaking love that so much. Bring your hands now to the top of the thighs. Bring awareness into the pubic bone and take the pubic bone down and back until you feel a very subtle shift in the thighs. The inner thighs are also following that movement, moving inward and back and widening back and apart. And what happens when you do that, the sits bones widen back and apart, and you're creating space here at the back side of the pelvis. And that's a delicious thing to do. Creates all kinds of space in the joints back here, the sacroiliac joint and all that good stuff. And inner spiral, which we'll be working on all the next 4 weeks, begins at the inner arch of the foot and spirals this way. Up the legs, up the legs, up the legs, taking the thighs back, creating the space until it hits T12, thoracic spine 12 at the base of the rib cage, and that's sort of where it lands. And we call it inward expanding spiral because we're getting into an inner universe that is in fact a universe. It's your universe. There's no end to that universe. That's why it just keeps expanding. It might land here, but it really just keeps going. So take that in for a second. All right, so let's do all of that again. So come into your breath. Lift and spread toes. Gently hug the block with hands on thighs. Take the pubic bone down and back. Just enough so you can feel that action taking place. And then drop the base of the tailbone into that space without losing the space you've created in the front of the hips and at the back of the sacrum. Inhale the hands up. And here we go. Take it slow. Forward fold, and notice how the sits bones move back and widen as the pubic bone goes back. You can't forward fold without the sits bones widening. Inhale, draw the heart forward. Exhale, forward fold. Make your sound. Inhale, heart forward. And now reverse swan dive, taking the hands out. And as you come up, just notice how the sits bones come back together. And reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You didn't know it was coming, Mariana. Sorry. Yes, that's our middle school moment where we get to poop the block out. Okay, you'll know next time. Great. Come to the top of your mats. All right, let's rock again on the feet. Just as a reminder that we're here, right now, a little grounding. Come into the breath. Imagine the block between the shins. Take the pubic bone down and back, initiating that inner spiral, and then drop the tailbone into that space. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your time. Put a little softness in the knees because the hamstrings might be tight. You can even put hands on blocks here. Inhale the heart forward. Exhale, step back with the right foot into a lunge. And pause. Draw legs to midline. And then on the inhalation, see if you can feel, even in this weird shape, what it would be like to take the pubic bone back. It takes both of the thighs back into space. And then root through that front sits bone through the foot and both feet and get long through the crown. On the inhalation, step back into a plank position. Nice and wide, and the fingers press the floor away. And exhale your weight down onto your bellies. Tack the toes, come on up into baby cobra. Root the tailbone. Tuck toes, press into hands, downward facing dog. Breathe. And then inhale, look forward, step the right foot forward. Lunge. Breathe. Draw legs to midline, and then tune into that pubic bone, take it down and take it back. It can be very subtle, you don't have to overdo this. Then root the front sits bone, press through feet, get long through crown. Notice how stable your base feels when you do that. Inhale, step the back foot forward, bend in the knees, let go of the head, make a sound. Good. Inhale the heart forward and up we go. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's bring our blocks to the front of the mat. Okay. Good. All right. Let's come back into the feet again and just rock forward and back. As a reminder, we are here, and also as a reminder that we're offering ourselves a practice that opens us to inviting in the experience of more pleasure. So just remembering that. So throughout your practice, find what feels good. All right. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, take your time with a bend in the knees, forward fold. Those sits backs go back and wide. Sits bones. Did I say sits backs? That's cool. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. With a bend in the knees, pressing through hands, take the hips high. Feel a gentle draw of the shins towards one another, and then tune into your pubic bone and take it back and see how the sits bones can widen here in this shape. And then drop the tailbone into that space. Woo, my vertebrae just aligned. Inhale the right leg up behind you. Then put a bend in that knee and open that knee. Keep a bend in the left knee so that it's tracking in the direction of the toes. And then just play here with the opening of your hip. Nice. Exhale that foot between the hands for a lunge and grab your blocks. Good. Back knee is lifted. Come into the breath. Feel a gentle draw to midline, and then on the exhalation, lift the front foot, bend the back knee, move the front knee towards straight, and get into that hamstring. How's that feel? Ooh. Feels ooh. Yeah, there's a little tightness there, right? Inhale it forward. We're going to pulse it. Exhale, drop back. It's like a little bicycle movement. Inhale it forward. When you come forward, back knee straightens. As you exhale it back, back knee bends, front knee straightens. One more. All right. Come on back into your lunge. Take the back knee down. And reach up. Find your own lunge. Find what feels good here. Make it pleasurable. A little draw to midline with the legs. A little movement of the pubic bone down and back. Nice. Exhale your way into a twist. So left hand to the mat, right hand comes up. Good. Inhale to unwind yourself. We'll take this right into a gecko pose. I'm going to use my blocks today so I don't over gecko myself. Putting my forearms on blocks just feels really good to me, so you can do that or find your own way. Remembering for a moment that experience of pleasure that you evoked at the start of our practice. Letting it expand in you. Beautiful. Okay, inhale, walk it back. Ardha Hanumanasana, blocks to either side of the foot. The hamstring has already been a little bit opened, right? Because we did that other thing. And here it is. So, yeah, drawing toes towards the heart. I'm going to invite you to just play a little bit here with the hip. So draw a little inner spiral to take the hip way out and wide, and then a little outer spiral, draw it back in, and then inner to draw it out, and outer, draw it in, just a couple times. Ooh, And then find center. The energy draws from the base of the foot up and into the hip socket. Presses back out. Draw the heart forward. Ooh, deep stretch. Now we're going to take that right into a twist. So the right hand comes onto the right hip. You can keep your hand on the block or you can bring it down to the floor. And find your twist here in this shape. Inhale, unwind. Plant the hand, step it back, plank position. Now notice the two legs and the two hips. Do they feel the same? Do they feel a little different? A little different? Very different, right? Wow, what did we do? Come on down onto your bellies. Tack the toes and up into a cobra. Root the tailbone strongly. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg to sky. Press through the hands, put a bend in the knee and stack the hips. Put a little bend in the right knee so that the knee tracks in the same direction as the toes. And then play here in the hip. Make this pleasurable. What kind of opening is available to you here right now today? What would feel really good here? Like, oh. And then exhale that foot all the way forward into the other time zone. Bring your blocks. And we're going to play. We're going to play with the hamstring of the left foot. Good. So as you inhale, we'll lift the toes, bend the back knee, straighten the front. Or maybe it's an exhale. Mine's an exhale. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back. Pause here with your active toes. Feel into that hamstring. And then inhale, bring the foot back down. Ground the back knee down. Draw legs in towards midline, reach up. And then back out a little bit and see if you can come into contact with your pubic bone. And what would it be like, even just a microscopic dosage, to take the pubic bone down and back? Then press and reach. And on an exhalation, we'll reach down with the right hand, reach up with the left. Inhale your way into a twist, drawing legs towards midline. Enjoy your twist. The sun just came out from behind the cloud. Play with micro movements. Micro movements inspire flow. You get the water moving in connective tissue. Good, and then we'll exhale that. Come around to find your gecko. Use your blocks if that feels good to you today. Nice and steady. All right, we're going to inhale it back and into Ardha Hanumanasana. So use the blocks, lift the toes, find your breath. Good, and then draw. Draw the energy from the foot up the lines of the leg to draw the head of the femur bone more deeply into the socket, and then press it back out. Let the heart melt forward. Full breath, soft jaw, and then we're going to twist it. Take the left hand to the left hip to begin. You can keep your hand on a block or bring it to the floor. And find your twist here. Find what's going to really make you sing And reach for it. Express it. It really did make you sing. Nice. Inhale, unwind yourself. Bring the hands to the mat, step it back, plank position. And now feel both sides. And when you're ready, we'll come on down to bellies. Tack the toes and inhale your way up and into your cobra. Sometimes the way into pleasure is simply to slow things down. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Look between the hands, jump, step, float your feet forward. Let go of the head. Yes, if there's a sound that wants to come out of any part of you, I invite it. And inhale the heart forward. Okay, take it on up. Exhale, hands to heart. Shake something out. How are we doing? Good? Yeah? All right. Nice. Is that enough window opening? Do you need another? Wouldn't mind it? Keep it little. Yeah, sun came out. It's like, somebody say pleasure? Clearly you're talking about me. All right. Coming back to the top of our mats. And let's take a moment. We'll come into the feet to begin again, and just a simple rocking, forward and back, forward and back. Coming into breath. Gentle draw towards the block, the imaginary block in the shins. And then drawing that pubic bone down and back. Just enough. It can be a micro dose even. And drop the tailbone into that space. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, forward fold with soft knees, widening of the sits bones, making space for you to forward fold. Inhale the heart forward. Exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Nice and wide in the fingers. Soften the knees. Imagine that block between the shins and give it a little hug. And then take the pubic bone back and widen those sits bones back and apart. Get long, and then drop the tailbone into that space. And now inhale the right, let's do left. Inhale, left foot up to sky. Put a bend in the knee. Bend the right knee to track it forward, but enjoy this opening. Find enjoyment here. And then exhale that foot forward. Take yourself right up and into a high lunge. Gentle draw to midline, a melting of the thighs back and apart. Rooting of the front sits bone down. Press through the feet and reach. Breathe. Take in something that brings you pleasure right now. Easy for me because I'm looking at the sky and this tree. And then we'll open it into a Virabhadrasana 2 shape. Good. Nice. All right. Inhale, straighten the knee. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. See if you can really feel the muscles work as you do this. Inhale, straighten. What a miracle it is to have muscles that can do this, right? Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Take the left elbow to the knee, right hand on the right hip, and pause. Parsva Konasana shape. All right, let's take our actions. So feel into your feet with your breath, and then isometrically draw the feet towards one another on the mat. Feel how that activates the muscles in the legs. Now take your right hand to your right thigh, and let the pubic bone move down and back, and it'll move your butt back. Yeah, and you can even exaggerate that. Okay, now what? Well, the front buttocks has got to tuck under. But you don't want to lose the motion of the inner spiral back. So keep the inner spiral back and then tuck the left buttock under into that space. Now press into the feet, and the hand floats up. And draw the chin back. Wonderful. Look down at the mat. Hopefully your blocks are still there. We'll take the blocks and step the back foot forward about a foot to come into Parsvottanasana. And you can bring the blocks on high. For a moment, just let things go and move the hips around. Wag your tail, maybe circle the hips in one direction and then the other. Good. Good. Back foot is at a 45. Yeah. Pause and breathe. And then lift and spread the toes of both feet. Engage the muscles of the legs. Nice. Now take that pubic bone down and back. Oh, doesn't that change things? Did your spine suddenly get way longer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then root through that front sits bone down. Press through both feet. Draw the heart forward. Let go of your blocks. Step yourself back. Plank position. Onto bellies. Inhale to cobra. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Good. And when you're ready, we'll take side two. So we'll inhale left leg high. Put a bend in the knee. Stack the hips. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Right leg high. I'm a creature of habit, as we all are. Bend the knee, take it back. Nice. Enjoy this shape. Make some micro moves here to see what's possible in the pleasure zone. Good. And then exhale that foot all the way through and take yourself up and into a lunge. And I'm going to move myself around this way. Up and into a lunge. Nice. Feel your toes, find your breath, and then gently draw legs into midline. On the next inhalation, explore this melting sensation of the pubic bone drawing down and back. Root the front sits bone down, tucking it around and under. Press through the feet, reach through the fingertips. Find what feels good here. And then on your inhalation, we'll turn it. Virabhadrasana 2 shape. Good. You're all looking so good. And then inhale, straighten. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straight. Exhale, fold. 2 more. I'll take that right elbow. Yeah, it is right. Okay, right onto the right knee. Phew. I'm just opposite peeps on the camera. And pause. Wag the toes. Is that a thing? Wagging toes? Did I just make that up? I don't know. And then inhale, draw your feet towards one another. Take the left hand onto the left thigh. And we're going to do this actually pretty strongly. So take now the pubic bone back. It will take your butt back. It might feel really weird. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, take it back. Nice. Then root. Draw that right buttocks down and around and press through the front foot. Press through the back foot. Let the left hand float up over the ear. Notice if the front toes are crunching and see if you can liberate those. Great. Good. Look down at your mat and step around with your blocks. Bring the back foot a little forward for Parsvottanasana. Take the blocks to high. Breathe. Yeah, we'll begin right there with breath. Let's wiggle the toes, wag the toes, wiggle, waggle. And then move the hips, circle the hips here. You'll have to put a bend probably in the front and back knees. Circle them one way, circle them the other way. Circle, circle, circle. Good. Then straighten the legs. Find your breath. Lift and spread toes of both feet. Bring muscular energy into the legs. And then a micro dose of inner spiral. So taking that pubic bone down and back. Just notice what happens all the way up through the upper body. Some kind of fluid flow becomes available. And then rotating, taking that right sits bone and curling it down and around. Press through both feet. Draw the heart forward. Enjoy. If you're not in a place of enjoyment, back it off and find a place of enjoyment for yourself here. Remove your blocks, press into the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Woo. And look between the hands, stump, step, jump, float your feet, or stump, 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 stump. Good. Inhale the heart forward and come on up. Exhale, hands to heart. Yeah, good. Let your eyes fall upon something pleasing. It just made me think of the expression in French, s'il vous plaît, for please, if it pleases you. Like if it's pleasing to you, would you, blah, 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 blah. That's so beautiful. French and pleasure. You got it all worked out. All right, let's turn to face the windows on your mat and step or jump yourself into a wide stance. We'll bring a block. Okay, turn your right toes to the right and bring the block in front of the shin. Okay, put a bend in that right knee and bring your right elbow onto your right knee for Parsvottanasana again. Find your breath. Nice. And here we go with the action. So we're going to draw feet towards one another. We're going to melt that pubic bone down and back to stick the butt back. Really stick the butt back. Now take your hand down to the block. Press the block and the arm into the shin and the shin back into the block, and then try doing that melting of the pubic bone down and back again. See if it's more available with the aid of the muscular energy in the shin. Nice. Now tuck the right sits bone down and around, press through feet, and take the hand overhead. And you'll see if this time that this feels a little different than the last one. Work with it. Good. As you inhale, come on up. Turn the toes. We'll do the other side. Take the block with you. Nice. So you're on, your left toes are turned, left knee is bent. Take the left elbow to the left knee and pause. We'll start with the right hand on the right hip. Breathe. Oh, let something go. Soften the skin of the face again. just as a reminder. Breathe into your kidneys, just as a reminder. Opening to grace first. Then isometric draw feet towards one another. Good. Take the hand to the block. Keep the muscular energy going. Press the block into the shin into the block. And then take the pubic bone down and back. Melt your thighs back, both of them. Don't lose that muscular energy of the shin and the block. And then root that left tailbone down. Press through the feet. Keep all of that engaged. Then reach with the hand over the ear. Keep pressing through the feet as you reach. Enjoy. Keep breathing. See if you can deepen your pleasure of this in some way. If that means coming out, then that's what it is. Good. And then inhale. Press through the feet. Come on up. Turn both feet towards the front. Take your blocks and bring your hands to the blocks. In a Prasarita Padottanasana. How y'all doing back there in the back line? It's like, hello. We're getting very close here. All right. So come into your feet and breathe and lift and spread those toes. So make the legs active. Nice. And let's play here with the pubic bone. So draw the pubic bone back and then forward. And then back and then forward. And then draw it back and let the tailbone root into that space. Lovely. You can continue to use the blocks, or if you don't need the blocks, you can bring fingers to the mat. We'll take the right hand to right under the face and the left hand to the left hip. Take yourself into a twist. Keep the legs strong. Hips steady. Inhale out, other side. Strong legs, hips steady. Find your way into a twist. Inhale your way out. Windshield wiper those feet towards one another. Good. This time let's roll up. Let's put a deep bend in the knees and take your time to roll up through the spine with bent knees. Reach up. Exhale, interlace fingers behind the back. Inhale, shoulders up. Draw elbows together, nice and strong in the lower legs as you open the heart here. And then exhale to release that. Okay, my friends, we are now ready for the peak moment of our practice. Did you think we had already reached our peak? No, not yet. Okay, that's why we have a blanket. So we're going to actually come on down. Roll the front of the mat back. And then take your blanket ahead of that. You're going to want your blocks, actually. Got rid of those too soon. You want your blocks. Any guesses? No. Any other guesses? Hanumanasana. Oh, right. That is, we did Ardha, so we'll all get into Ardha Hanumanasana together. Here we go. So bring your right foot forward. It's like, why is this blanket here? What's up with the blanket? We're going to slide. We're going to super slide. Okay. So you're already in a beautiful, beautiful shape here. And this may be what is pleasurable and enough for your body today. So I want to just offer that. Yeah, let's take the blocks high. I love that. Let's take the blocks high for a second. All right. So I need to lift and take my knee back so that I'm not right on the top of my knee, because that's really uncomfortable. All right, so here we go. Come into your breath. find the draw to midline of the legs, and then we're going to kind of get a little wild with it. We're going to do what we did when we were in Ardha Hanumanasana, and we're going to inhale and do a deep inner spiral to take that right hip way out to the side. It's kind of weird. And I want you to keep it there and give yourself a little slide forward, and then tuck the tailbone back down again, lift the heart. So this may be it. You may be at your spot, or there might be more. So on the inhalation, do that inner spiral really strong and exaggerate it again, and then just see if there's a little more. And then come and pause, tuck that tailbone back under and press through the feet and lift the heart. It's a lot. If there's more, do the same thing again. For me, this is enough, so I'm not going to go deeper, but if there's more for you, inhale, take it out, and go deeper. I'm even going to back it off just a little bit so that I can enjoy it more. Nice. And inhale, drag the foot back. Ooh. Let's sit back for a second just to feel that. Like, what just happened? Remember when you were a kid and splits were such an easy thing? And back bends? And back bends. That's one of the things I was taught early on in my yoga teacher training way back when, was just like, yeah, children back bend easily, but they have a hard time forward folding. Adults, forward fold easily. Back bend, not so easy. Yeah, over time. All right, left foot forward. And let's take that back knee back a little bit. Hands on high blocks. Ardha Hanumanasana. Pause and find your breath. This may be right where you're working today, and that is perfectly fine, especially if this is your pleasure point. I really mean it. Good. Activate the toes. Find that draw from foot up into the hip socket, and then inhale. Take the hip way out and start to take that foot forward. You have to adjust your blocks. And pause. So you don't have to do it all at once. Pause. Extend through feet, lift heart. And then if there's more, inhale, take that hip wide. And come again. Pause. You may need to adjust the height of your blocks. Extending through feet, lifting heart. Refining your 7-year-old self. And if there's more, once again, inhaling the hip wide, taking yourself in. And the two sides may be different.
Very different.
Yeah. And when you're ready to come out, we'll inhale it back. Awkward as she goes. Nice job, everybody. Let's use our blankets. Make a little seat for ourselves. Ooh. Just take a moment in the center plane. I'm going to close this window because we're kind of cooling down. Let's take our feet out front for a second. Just like everything in here is all like, what just happened? I've done this twice now today, so if mine are really like, what are you doing? Let's take fingers behind, root through feet, root through the back side of the legs. Inhale, lift the heart. Open it up. Yeah, good. Pleasure. Ananda, bliss, our birthright. A form of rebellion in the midst of oppression, both internal and external. The inner voices that want to take you down. That's internalized oppression. I'm saying, thank you very much, and I'm going to give myself some pleasure now. Okay, inhale, come on up. Take your hands under the knees and we'll take one leg out and then the other. Konasana. Maybe a little staggering. Stagger, stagger. Great. Let the toes turn towards sky. Let them be active. Draw from the feet up the lines of the legs to draw the femur bones more deeply into the socket, and then play with that pubic bone. A little micro dose of drawing it back. What's that like? Good. Turn towards your right leg. Stay grounded in both sits bones. Walk fingers forward any amount or just right here and twist. You want to be able to keep that curve in the lower spine. Breathe. Inhale. Come on out. Take the other side. Both sits bones stay grounded. Using the pubic bone to draw down and back, we bring the curve into the lower back. Keep the curve as you experiment with what's available on this side. Yeah, and bent knees is totally cool to do here. Totally cool. Inhale, come on back. We're going to do a seed sound of Vam. So find a comfy seated position. Vam is a seed sound that's associated with our second chakra. We'll put a hand on belly, hand on heart, hand on belly, and if it feels hard to sit here, you may just need to boost yourself a little higher. Yep, so get something under the sits bones, get a little higher, so that you can sit nice and easy with a natural curve in the lower back. And it goes like this. We say Vam, 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 Vam on the exhalation, and on the inhalation, we repeat it silently inward. And we'll just do this a bunch of times. We'll see how it feels. So exhale fully. Deep inhalation. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Back to natural breath. I invite you to stay here in meditation or find your way onto your back for Shavasana.